the stretch. From the time that Pippen's three tied it at 85, you and Scotty got all the points.
Yeah, we play well. You know, we have the 1-2 combination all year long. And I've always said that, you know, Scotty takes pressure off me as much as I take pressure off him. So I'm MJ.
All right, we got another week, fellas. We ended last week talking about the 75, which kind of leads us into this argument or debate that most people have been having since probably the 75, or just a normal barbershop argument. Today's debate will be Kobe versus Duncan. Give me your choice of who would you pick and why.
Pick as a franchise starter? Is that a question?
Yeah, who'd you pick? Who's the better player? Who's the better career?
Answer the question, E.
Player.
Answer the question, E. Whatever comes to your heart.
Spend it, my brother. Who would you pick? Who do you think is the better player? Who do you think had the better career?
I would say for myself, overall career, I think a lot of people, as far as highlights, would say Kobe, for sure. But I think you'd be hard pressed to argue against what Duncan was able to do throughout his career. What you think, 19 seasons as well, and winning almost up until the very last season, having a winning career on that team and being the anchor, not only offensively, but also primarily defensively for that team for years. Just a consistent player on both sides of the floor, day in and day out. I don't think I can remember any time he was injured for a long period of time, maybe towards the end of his career, but it skips my mind right now. But for him to be able to do what he did every single day, every single game, every single season, and have that team winning and winning championships, not just winning the regular season, but win in the postseason as well, I would be happy to have him as my franchise player if I was looking to draft somebody and be a cornerstone of my team, as well as if I was a player to have a career like Duncan. I mean, it's hard to argue against what he was able to do. Again, I know he's not as flashy as Kobe, but to go against the norm, I would say Duncan overall total career. And we can get into numbers and all that later, but I'll let you see what you guys got to say.
You said all that just to say you picking Duncan?
Yep.
I was like, I got lost what the question was. Hey, but hold on, real quick. Hey, Maul, fix your camera again. I'm just seeing how good your beard looks.
Like I said, I'm trying to. I can't.
There we go. There we go.
We good. All right.
There we go.
I'm in now. I'm feeling like Teddy Riley.
God damn, this man gave us the whole Wikipedia while he's picking Duncan. Just say Duncan.
I mean, look, man.
It'd be a short episode break it down. Say Duncan.
We got 30 minutes to talk about the shit. You just almost spent 30 minutes of it explaining.
Man, go ahead. Who you got, man?
I'm shooting right to the point. I got Kobe.
Okay, why?
Yeah. Okay, well, okay, well, I'll say less. Say less is this. He had to do more. I feel like Duncan had the luxury of having a lot of good to great teams where there's a lot of games that people wanted to be real dismissive about, where Tim Duncan sat on the bench and he could win, and they could win games with the other fellow starters and the bench players. Granted, you mean Tim put up numbers in the playoffs and the finals, but that's
be muted.
When Shaq was putting up numbers in the finals, who the fuck was checking Shaq?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Hey, he still get fouled out.
Nobody. Ma.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Ron. Can you hear me?
He sound muffled.
I'm back. I'm back. Some idiot trying to call me during my take and everything. You're trying to disrupt me. You feel what I'm saying? Because I asked this question to all y'all. If you sit Kobe down and you sit Tim Duncan down, who's most likely to win the ball game between the Lakers and the Spurs?
Depending on what year. But yeah, mostly the Spurs.
It don't matter about the year. It don't matter about the year because the Spurs keep on going. Stop. Listen. Hey,
I know. I'm
let's
messing with
build
you. I'm
our
messing with you.
houses.
I'm
No,
messing with
Marlon
you.
got
I
a
got it.
point though. Marlon got a point because if you take Kobe off, take Tim Duncan off, and that team playing against Shaq, you don't know.
I still got the
Yeah, you
Spurs.
talking about when Shaq's still there? Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
hard
I mean,
sell.
you know, but
I still got the Spurs.
Okay.
I agree with Ron. You know, me personally, it's kind of hard to debate a shooting guard and a power forward. When you argue in two different positions, it's kind of hard to debate. You know, they're not at the same position, so their skill sets are slightly different. My choice is Kobe. I break it down in the offense, defense, and playoffs. It's the only way I can compare them. So offense, I'm gonna take Kobe. I think Kobe's a better offensive player. He averaged more points, scored more points. It was a more offensive threat. Defense, I'm gonna have to.
Hey, first team all defense. Kobe got more than him.
Kobe has more all defensive teams. Duncan has more all defense selections, maybe 3 more. But I would have to give the defense maybe a draw between both of them. They were both the top defenders in their position. So it's kind of hard to put one over the other. You know, they both did exactly what they needed to do at their position. Tim Duncan was an anchor, one of the best rim protectors. Kobe was one of the best wing defenders, on-ball defenders. They did exactly what you expected from a defensive position. When it comes to playoffs, so they both got 5 rings. We can sit here and say that Kobe had Shaq and Shaq got 3 MVPs, but Duncan had other players, multiple players that got MVPs and championships. So you have Kawhi that got an MVP. You got Parker that got MVP, which lets me know you had proven talent on your team. And then you had a whole consistent core, a coach, the same coach the entire time. So you had camaraderie with a team that you grew with and was built the entire time. Hold on one second, Ron. Multiple players that I can just count off that, like if you said, if you take both these dudes off this team, I'm pretty sure that the Spurs would have been a winning team. If you take Kobe off the Smush Parker and Kwame Brown team, which they barely made the playoffs, I swear they would never have been close to the playoffs. And Kobe had played with lesser talent. So, my bad, Ron, go ahead.
Hold on, you forgetting the guy. You forgetting the White Mamba. You know, they used to call Manny Ginobili the White Mamba.
Yeah, six man of the year award. I mean, this man was the best dude.
I'm messing with
called him.
I don't know who called him now. I only know about the black mamba and the red mamba.
What was that? Calabrini?
Scalabrini, yeah.
Calabrini, yeah.
Cala. Oh, I'm sorry. I butchered that man's name.
It's all good. He's irrelevant to this conversation, but
definitely,
I hear you, brother.
Definitely he is.
It's all good.
Marlon.
In the knowing what I know right now, at the tail end of the careers, I'm gonna pick Kobe. In the beginning, I'm gonna still pick Kobe. Duncan was one of those guys who, no offense to Duncan, this is my opinion, who became a power forward because of Shaq. A lot of these guys, like he's a combo. He lines up sometimes as a center, sometimes as a power forward. But in college, what did he play? Center. High school, center. Played center all his career. He's All-American. He's college player of the year as a center. You get to the league, you don't want to go against that 7'1", 320-pound giant in the paint. He said, "Hey, Robinson, go ahead and handle that." But, hey, Robinson, look, he knew what time it was. When Shaq first got there, they gave him a little work. When Shaq hit his prime, he made a lot of guys power forwards. Kobe, from day one, wanted all the smoke.
All of it.
All of the smoke. Day one, he's talking to Jordan. He didn't even play a game yet. They said he had Jordan ask people, "Who that?" I said, "That's Kobe Bryant." I said, "He's gonna be a problem." Like he just had the misfortune of having to be in one of the most stacked draft classes of all time, where he did not get Rookie of the Year like Duncan. But when it's a toss-up between AI and Kobe, when Kobe didn't have to carry a franchise at that point, it's going to be AI. AI was more developed by having more years having those years in college, but Kobe still held his own. Like when you look at the career, it's hard to, of course, compare a power forward and a shooting guard. But when you look at the grand scheme, Kobe had to guard one of the harder positions, in my opinion, as well as outplay one of the harder positions. And it's going to be guys, he's guarding small forwards and shooting guards, even point guards. But Duncan, he's going to be consistent. He's going to be a 19 and 8 guy every night.
19-10, probably.
19, but like I said, he didn't average. He was close. He would hit that double-double sometimes, but he wasn't out there chasing. He let the game come to him. It's a very, like, the big fundamentals is named for a reason. Duncan consistently let the game just flow. There was no force to his game. His game is almost how Bruce Lee said, like water. When Kobe has the ball, he is dictating everything. The flow of the game, the tempo. He's getting all the attention at one time. You know Duncan's there, but he's not doing the most to grab your attention. He's going to get his regardless.
Mom, can you hold that right there for a second? Right there when you're talking about the attention?
Yeah.
So, and you come into a game against the Spurs and the Lakers, who are you trying to stop? You're trying to stop Kobe, because if you can stop Kobe, you can probably beat the Lakers.
Exactly.
But if you stop Duncan, that doesn't guarantee you win the game.
Especially when Kawhi's there.
That sounds like a better
especially when all,
It's not that it's a better game plan. You got better help. You got better talent.
That's the Patriots right there of the NBA.
Right. So, but that doesn't negate a person's greatness just because they play within the system and play a better team basketball.
Kobe played within the system. He played within a triangle offense. The triangle offense was a well-rounded game plan. So they both played in great systems. And the system was designed technically for a big man, but they tweaked it and realized how to use it for a small forward and a guard. But I'm not going to say that it's a better system, because one is a better offensive threat. That's just what it is. You have to game plan for Kobe's offense.
Right. And that's why I say overall, I don't think there's a question as to Kobe being the better scoring option. I mean, he's one of the greatest scorers of all time. So again, that's why you game plan is to slow Kobe down, as opposed to the Spurs and even like Golden State nowadays, which has grown out of the Spurs system with Kerr, doing that team basketball, moving the ball around, multiple people touching the basketball before getting a shot off. That's how they played in that system. And Duncan played very well in that system, which allowed them to be a model consistently as a team and continually win every single year. So if, like you're right, if Duncan was sitting on the bench or whatever, people were still able to play within that flow of the game and still find ways to get the ball in the bucket, as opposed to a triangle offense. Even you saw with Jordan, if he ain't on the floor, they struggle to score. Same thing with Kobe and Shaq. Those two ain't on the floor, they're struggling to score.
I don't remember moments when the Lakers and the Bulls really struggled to score. I mean, to be honest, the Bulls still made it almost to a conference championship without Mike. Scottie and Kukoc were still scoring. They were still a top team without Mike. I understand the systems. I understand what you're saying. I get what you're talking about. It was a well-rounded system. Popovich's system is a more pass-friendly team, but you can't negate the fact that he had more talent, consistent more talent.
So you guys say
he was a role player on a championship team.
But we all in agreement that Kobe had the best talent, some of the best talent ever.
You saying Shaq? Shaq. You had David Robinson.
David Robinson ain't Shaq.
Shaq ain't win shit till he got Kobe.
That's his best player, right? Are we saying David Robinson is Duncan's best player that he played with?
You had Kawhi.
Cool. A rookie Kawhi?
An MVP Kawhi.
A championship Kawhi.
Yeah.
But we all agree that it ain't the Kawhi today. The Kawhi today is better than what he was as a rookie Kawhi on the Spurs.
Regardless if it's today or tomorrow, he had Kawhi.
But he ain't the caliber of Shaq, correct?
Okay, but you had Duncan and Kawhi and Ginobili.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, now we got you.
Yeah, because I've been asking what's in your goddamn hand because you drinking. Because, bruh, tired of this bullshit. We now on ESPN. We get to say the fuck what we want to say. So let's get right down to it. Tim had it good, bruh.
Real good.
Real good, bruh. What the fuck is this? All these interruptions. I'm about to try to get my shit off. So I'm saying this to say this, right? Is Tim one of the greatest NBA consistent players? Absolutely. There's no taking away from Tim in that aspect, right? But going to what Javon is saying, what Marlon's a little bit, what he's saying is this. Tim could sit a quarter and they will still be up.
Literally, you could plug a lot of people in Tim's position that have similar talent, and they'll have, if not the same career, but better. If you plug Garnett in the Spurs,
don't get the Garnett.
He'll have a better career.
I'm not even going to say putting Garnett. If you switch Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant might win more than 5 rings.
Oh, what you got to say? That? Oh, don't be looking at the roof. The roof ain't gonna
help. I say this. What have Spurs done since Duncan left? We saying the system and the team is so good you can switch people in and out.
Choosing
all the
violence. Hold on.
They dismantled and they try to find the next.
What the hell exit route was that for you, E?
They
had Aldridge. On, E. You better than that
Aldridge on the team. They got what's your boy DeRozan was over there. So if it was so easy, all I'm saying is, I get you guys saying they had consistently good players on the team, but we all can agree they didn't have the caliber of players like Shaq on the team. They had good players, good solid role players, and they had consistently throughout the years. So they were able to win. But once Duncan left, we haven't seen them get back to where they were with Duncan.
Bro, come on, man.
Did you see the Lakers without Kobe?
Hold on. Am I on
mute? They were nothing.
Am I on mute again?
When they had Jeremy Lin on the team and Nick Young celebrating, barely winning the game.
I can tell E has been going on lunch with Midland because this whole player shit, and you keep on bringing Shaq. That's a player. Players.
One player, bro. One player.
But you won over half your championships with.
You won all your championships almost with the same people.
What same people? He had several people rotate in and out, like y'all said.
Ginobili and Parker got like 3 with him.
Ginobili and Parker were the ones that were there the most, but outside of
they got 3 with him, right?
Several other people.
Big shot, Rob.
Right. You didn't play with Aldridge, Robinson, Kawhi, Finley, Bowen. I mean, come on, I can go down the list.
But again, all good, consistent role players. Ain't none of those dudes outside of Ginobili.
And your man Tim Duncan got a ring being a good role player. I don't remember no Shaq.
He was a star player.
The last
Duncan wasn't a star player for the Spurs?
The last year?
Not his last year, but throughout
the last chip?
Throughout the season.
Throughout
his career.
The last chip.
Not the
Who
last
was the star?
chip, no.
Who was the star?
Kawhi was a star. Give you that. But I'm just saying.
So Duncan had played with multiple other stars and won championships.
And so has Kobe.
Kawhi and Tim and Robinson, Ginobili and Parker. Those are all Hall of Famers. Other than Shaq, name me another Hall of Famer. Maybe Gasol?
Hell no.
Maybe Odom, but then Odom not.
No, Odom not going to the Hall.
He's sending a drug addict to the Hall of Fame.
It ain't got nothing to do with the drugs.
They'll probably do the roster will be a Hall of Fame inductee.
So let's go with this. Hall of Famers. Who played with more Hall of Famers and more All-Stars in their championship careers?
Duncan.
It'll end up being Duncan.
So Duncan has played consistently with more help, right?
Yeah.
And they got the same amount of chips, right?
They do.
What makes Duncan better? I don't even think Duncan is the best power forward. Like somebody else just said. Me personally, that's an argument for me. You could put Kevin Garnett on that team, like I think Marlon or Ron said, and it would be almost the same thing. And Kevin Garnett can do exactly what Duncan can do, and probably a little bit more because his athleticism was out the roof.
He could do that shit and plus some.
And then when we talk about we can talk about their attributes from offense and defense and assists and MVPs and all that. I'm talking about.
Don't do that. Don't do
I'm not going to. No. I'm not going to just talk about. I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about head to head in the playoffs. Kobe dominated. I'm not gonna say dominated, but kind of dominated. Kobe was the MVP of the Western Conference Championship like 3 years in a row with Shaq on his team. And everybody knew that if you won, whoever's coming out the West was going to win the championship. So Kobe was dominating in those games. But Shaq did those MVPs, and we forget that Steve Nash took an MVP from him. Shaq got MVPs because McCullough
took one from him too.
McCullough and I don't even know the other centers who Shaq played in the championships. So
one of Duncan's MVPs is definitely Kobe's. That too.
So that could be 3-1 or 3-2.
But it ain't.
You're right, but it ain't.
It's not. I mean,
is it? But it ain't.
Yeah, I mean, popular by demand. It was a point of time when Kobe turned into a villain after the little rape situation. He was not the face of the NBA no more. They didn't want him to be the face of the NBA. He moved off that list.
He had to play his way back into good graces.
Yes, he did.
If he had a bad night, that was it. You guilty.
Yep.
He came back with that month of 50-point games, and it was like, hey, you know what? He fighting for his life here.
Come on, bro. This man played through situations where he could have shut the career down. Everybody else would have shut their season down. Injuries, more injuries.
Yeah. Dislocated shoulder.
Like this man said, this man played through way more than Duncan had to play through, more adversity that Duncan had to play through, and they still got the same amount of rings.
But hold on, though. Kobe had more demand for his position, and he had more demand based on what was going on with his roster as well.
Yeah.
So for me and Tim, yes, you mean in the top 10 and probably with other guys, he's probably the most consistent, great player. But as far as dominating or even starting a franchise with, I'm going Kobe.
I mean, you can't go wrong with either one. It's not a bad. It's not a wrong. It's not
no. I'm not saying it's wrong.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying you can't go wrong.
Yeah. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with Tim, but at the same time, I keep on realizing basketball every time I turn on ESPN. We are quick to make basketball an individual sport. So quick. And we're forgetting all the other pieces that come into this as far as like wins and stuff. Like if someone was to bring up Tim Duncan's, stat sheet and everything, they'll be like saying like, oh, he got like 1,000 wins. But wins is a team thing, not just an individual thing.
Man, if you took their names off and put their stats side by side, you would probably look at Duncan's stats and wouldn't see nothing that special. If you put the other power forwards right beside him, if you put Sheed, Weber, Barkley, and Malone beside Duncan's points, assists, and rebounds, you might not pick Duncan.
Yeah, you wouldn't even know it's him. But the team you put him on, it highlighted him. So he did get all-star votes, all defensive votes, all these things.
So I got a question for E. Question for you, my brother. Where's Tim in your top 5 for power forwards? I'm pretty sure we could talk about this on the next pod. I could carry on, but I need some answers.
I mean, I haven't put it together, but I mean, he's definitely up near the top for sure. Probably no less than number 3.
Oh, who's number
again,
1?
I gotta But
so you got him. Hold on. So you got him number 3.
I
and
said
Kobe.
No less.
That motherfucker's 3. That motherfucker's 3 because Kobe's 2. Kobe's 2 behind Jordan.
Okay.
Because we all could make a case about Barkley, KG, and Malone. We can make a case.
Yeah.
There is no case for Kobe. You ain't jumping Dwayne Wade over Kobe now.
No arguments here.
You mean? Shit, don't let me get the Chuckster.
The Chuckster.
The round bound rebound.
That he'll make
a round mound of
himself.
rebound. There we go. I mean, like I said, he carried a team, literally. The man willed a team to the finals.
Matter of fact, Javon, get that motherfucker off the top 10. Get that motherfucker off.
Man, it sounds like this is a 3-1 vote. Kobe over Duncan. At the end of the day, you can't go wrong with either player. I think if you drafted anyone as your franchise player, it wouldn't be no wrong answer. This is a preference of choice for the most part. When you're looking at their stats side by side, man, it's both of them had great careers. I'm not going to talk about Duncan like he's less of a player. I'm not about to sit here and bet him like his name was.
He still was the best player coming out of college. So it's unanimous. You're going to get him.
That did not want that work at center.
We had to make it.
And that's another whole argument right there. I don't even like the fact that we list him at a power forward. When half his career, he still played center.
Yeah.
He had the luxury. Who has the luxury to be a center but play power forward? Because you got centers.
Yeah.
Man, that was a good episode of Unbiased Sports Talk. Man, hit the like, subscribe. See y'all fellas next week.
Hit the notification bell.
Yes, sir.
Hit the bell.